You're listening to EPN, the ePodcast Network. This is Enterprise Radio and your host, Eric Dye.
This is Eric Dye, and once again, welcome to Enterprise Radio, your EPN channel for exclusive interviews with entrepreneurs, small business owners, and top executives who have experienced great success, as well as the sharing of their latest creations, products, and/or services that can help you build your business, leading to business success. Today, we are speaking with Malik Akande, the founder of Uberkit.net, that provides information products for people who want to start or grow their Uber business. Malik, certainly a privilege to have you with us today on Enterprise Radio.
Thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome. So tell us, what is Uber and how does it work?
Well, Uber is a ride-sharing company. Uber has a passenger mobile application on both Android and iPhone, which a passenger can use to request a pickup. Uber essentially connects a driver with a passenger. According to Uber, 52% of drivers are part-time. 36% of them are full-time drivers, and about 12% are Uber enthusiasts. Essentially, what Uber does it allows Uber drivers it connects Uber drivers with Uber passengers. So they provide on their platform a mobile application to Uber drivers, which allows them to pick passengers on demand. There is no scheduling with this application. Uber essentially is a company that currently is disrupting the taxi industry across the globe. They're in about 300 cities, 169 or so in North America, 11 in Central and South America, 72 cities in Europe and Africa, and 56 cities in Asia. I think that's the long and short of it, the question. I hope I was able to answer that.
Well known throughout the world for sure. What are some of the things that one can do as an Uber driver to increase revenue and get 5-star ratings?
Well, some of the things that as a Uber driver or partner that you could do to increase your revenue or get 5-star ratings include knowing your staging points. That's knowing where to pick up rides. I mean, depending on where you are, you might not be getting requests for pickups. You need to know your Uber rates because the rates vary from city to city, so you need to be aware of that. You need to ask questions from fellow Uber drivers, in the event that you're not just making as much money, because your demand patterns vary. You might make a third of your money on a Friday night, at this particular club area, for example. Knowing your weather forecast, because that drives, demands. There's something they call, the surge, the surge that Uber implements, where if the supply for Uber drivers is low and they have high demand, the rates jump up. And definitely knowing your weather forecast can help you plan around that. Looking at your Uber weekly summary emails, that also helps, because they're pretty good about forecasting demand depending on events and things of that sort. Knowing where your downtown is and the events downtown, your nightlife, college campuses, and overall just being nice to your passengers. If you're nicer, you're probably going to get a 5-star, maybe even a tip. So I'll say those are a couple of tips that I would give that would possibly increase your revenue and get you 5-star ratings.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing those. And how can one make a Uber a business for themselves?
To make Uber a business, you need to treat it like a business. I talk to a lot of Uber drivers and partners, and it's amazing some of the things that are not taken into account by the average Uber partner. A couple of tips I would say that you probably should be aware of is you need to think like an entrepreneur. So don't just necessarily drive by yourself. Think about owning multiple cars. You need to know all your cost factors and track them. So things like car maintenance, repair costs, government permits where required, those are things that you need to track, because it's now a business. You need to know your revenue stream. The good thing with Uber is that you can make money from rides as well as getting driver referrals, passenger referrals, and there are people making substantial income from this. So you need to have a strategy on how to make money through that. You need to know your car acquisition model, and this is very important actually, because depending on if you lease versus finance or purchase a car outright, for example, UberX, as a managing owner, your ROI can vary from negative to 200% over 5 years, meaning you could actually lose money or you could make money. So you need to be very careful how you go about your car acquisition model. Then you also need to know the mileage you put on your car, because Uber tracks just the mileage while you have a passenger in your car. But, there's a lot going on in terms of, implementation or, daily implementation of Uber that Uber doesn't track. That's, the mileage you put on your car while you're going to go pick up a customer, the mileage while you're just driving around looking for a good staging point. You need to track that kind of information. There are tools out there to help with that. You need to keep track of all your business expenses. And you can do all of this or use information that Uberkit already has collated and packaged for you.
Today we're joined by Malik Akande, the founder of Uberkit.net, that provides information products for people who want to start or grow their Uber business here on Enterprise Radio, a part of the Entrepreneur Podcast Network. Malik, what is the ROI or return on investment for an Uber business?
As I previously mentioned, it's greatly dependent on how you manage your costs and also your car acquisition model and plan. At the end of the year, you could end up with a loss if you do not treat the Uber business like a business. Depending on your car acquisition model and plan, your ROI could be anywhere from negative to 200% average over 5 years for UberX. Other services vary. For Uber Black, you could get up to 300% ROI. As a obviously managing partner. So it's heavily dependent on your cost and just as a summary, heavily dependent on your cost and your car acquisition model, I'd say.
And tell us, what does Uberkit do and how does this relate to Uber?
Well, you could think of Uberkit as your consultant in a box. We have thought about your Uber business so you don't have to do much thinking, but rather worry about your business and how to start or grow it. We have packaged top-level consulting information comparable to anything you can find at the top consulting companies at a minute fraction of what you would pay. The level of package consultant data ideally would cost thousands of dollars if it was custom made for you, but you don't have to pay anywhere even close to that. So I hope that answers the question of what we do.
Most definitely as well. And any closing thoughts or a final tip for the listeners today in regards to Uber and their business?
Well, I want to say this. Uber is it's a fast-growing business. I know a lot of people are interested and they want to get into it, but you always have to ask yourself, why are you getting into Uber? Are you going into it just to meet people, or are you going into it to actually make money and grow your business? If you're trying to grow your business, you need to do your due diligence like any business out there, and we've already done that. So if you want to start or grow your Uber business, you need to visit us at www.Uberkit.net. That's www.Uberkit.net.
Well, Malik, we certainly do appreciate your time today. Wish you all the best, and thanks for spending a moment with us today on Enterprise Radio.
Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. We've been speaking with Malik Akande, the founder of Uberkit.net, that provides information products for people who want to start or grow their Uber business. And once again, the website of reference is Uberkit.net. And this is Eric Dye, and you've been listening to Enterprise Radio, a part of EPN, the Entrepreneur Podcast Network. Pick up our iPhone or Android mobile app for your mobile listening convenience. And once again, we do thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for listening to Enterprise Radio here on EPN. For more information or to subscribe to this podcast, visit epodcastnetwork.com.
This is the ePodcast Network.